Alrighty, so this is the tutorial video of combos, from basic to a little more advanced for Justimon. Before we get started, I'm going to show you the deck profile. So you're going to see that picture in a couple of seconds, so you guys can get an overview of what currently we are using and what combos we will be using with this specific list. So take a peek at the list and screenshot it if you'd like, and enjoy. Alrighty, let's talk about combos and card choices and just kind of in-depth detail about this. So first we're going to start off with Ryu. So his effect, reveal the top four, add a Drummon or a Justimon from your top of your deck, and place the rest in any remaining order, right? So what is so good, and the reason why I even run Command Drummon and Seal Drummon, because of the Drummon name. What I have noticed for consistency is if I have to play Ryu, I can add either one of these. If I do not hit, the typical Drummon, Cyber Drummon, Justimon options, if I don't hit any of these, then I have these two as other options. And that brings so much more consistency to this deck, especially this deck wants to be very aggressive and quick. So if I don't have a level 3, well, here's another level 3. If I don't have a level 4, here's a level 4. Unfortunately, we don't have ideal good ones, level 5s and 6s that are generic, but that helps bring consistency. That's why I run these two. As of right now, that is the ideal choice until we see what more support is coming out. Now, another combo. So what's really cool with these two and how they work in junction with each other. So, here's your hatching area, whatnot. This doesn't really matter, but what's a cool combo if your opponent's left you with a minimum of 3 memory, let's say you're going first, and you have no tamers in hand, right? And we really need to dig for tamers. What's really cool is you can hard play Mono Drummon, look at the top 4 cards, and add tamers. So let's look at the top 4. And oh my, we hit 4 tamers. All right, this is an example. Mono Drummon's effect says add all tamers. So if we look at the top 4, we're adding all 4 of these to hand, right? Now let's say we don't hit any tamers. Well, we still have a second choice, or a second way of doing it. And that was where Strike Drummon comes in. Again, we look for another top 4, right? So if we look at the top 4, and oh goodness, 1 tamer. It only allows us to add 1, but that at least is an extra dig. So we're just these 2 cards together, we're able to dig through 8 cards for a tamer. And as you know, this deck is tamer reliant. It requires the tamers to be able to get all the combinations. So that's a really good play, a good first turn play. Let's say, if you're going second and you get at least a minimum of 3 memory, you can Mono Drummon and Strike Drummon to dig for your tamers. Next, let's talk about the Volcanomon Chaosmon combo. Okay, so we need a minimum these 2 cards and a level 6. So we'll just pick Justimon, right? So we have Volcanomon. We went to Justimon. Justimon did his whole thing, which we'll talk about in the end. And then we go into Chaosmon. So Volcanomon's inherent ability, if your opponent has an unsuspended Digimon, this gains security attack +1. This will pass over to Chaosmon. So if your opponent has a active Digimon on board, you can attack at it. It will gain that security attack +1. So you're getting rid of the Digimon, and then you have the piercing ability to do security attack 2. That is a really strong combination. So if you have Volcanomon as the inherent level 5, and you have that Chaosmon and your opponent has a Digimon on board, it's a really good combination. You get rid of the Digimon as well. You'll be able to deal 2 damage. Backup level 6, Gankumon. Why I run it? Well, it has that delete all of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest play cost, so field control, as well as security attack +1 if you're swinging and your opponent has an unsuspended Digimon. But why else? Sunresimon. To me, this card is so strong and almost like the heart of your most powerful combinations. Okay, so Sunresimon requires 13, Gankumon's a 12, but we have these. So let's say Sunresimon is under Gankumon. As long as we have Hopmon under him, and as long as we have a tamer, doesn't necessarily have to be Ryu, it could be Izzy or any tamer, any black tamer, the Hotmon will give it plus 1000 DP, already hitting the threshold of 1300. So right there, you're hitting for security attack plus 3. Okay. Now let's say you don't have Hotmon, right? Let's say we have Pagumon under him. You're not hitting the threshold, but this is where Ryu would come in. Ryu has the ability when Gankumon attacks. You activate Ryu, rest him, give Gankumon plus 1000. Now, Sunrezimon's ability will trigger. Now it has the security attack plus. And what's really cool, and the reason why I have Volcanomon is just imagine if we have Volcanomon under that. So that's security attack plus 1, 2, 3. So that's 4 damage, swinging and 1 hit. As long as you have a Ryu or a Hopmon, then, a Hopmon and a Tamer, or just Ryu, you'll be able to make the 1300 threshold, which then Gankumon can swing for high power and damage. So I'm sorry, high damage input. So that is why I run so far the backup Gankumon. Like I mentioned in my deck profile, he may change depending on what's coming out, but so far he has been very reliable as a backup. And now the final combination, the most complicated combination in a sense where multiple effects can trigger. But let's talk about the lineup, what we want, okay? We ideally want to see a minimum of at least 1 tamer, but a minimum of 2 to get the most effects off, right? So let's say we have 3. Your main egg you want to have is Hotmon. Then under that, pardon me, not Monodramon, but Sunrizimon. Okay, Sunrizimon has that 13,000 power, security attack plus 1 inherit. Next would be Strydramon. If you have 2 or more tamers, so which is why we want to have 2+, when the Digimon attacks, gains memory plus 1. So for further extensions, Cyberdramon. So if you end up rising or digivolving Cyberdramon while out on the board, you'll be able to play a Ryu for free. So that way it gives you extra tamers for more combinations. Okay, and then it has the lovely inherit effect. If you have 2 or more black tamers, de-digivolve one of your Digimon when the Digimon attacks. Okay, if you don't have Cyberdramon, this is where Volcanomon would come into the picture, and at that point just provide extra security damage. But mainly we want Cyberdramon, so this is just there as a backup. Finally, we'll go to our boy Justimon. His ability is when he digivolves, you can activate 1 of 3 effects. Unsuspend, delete something that's a 5 cost or less, or plus 2,000 power. Okay, 2,000 power and the unsuspend, to me, are more important than the destruction. And then finally, Chaosmon. Depending if your opponent has a monster left over after this or has survived, this applies that extra pressure to get rid of a monster as well, deal extra security. So depending on the opponent's board state, this might come into play, but not the whole main combo. We discussed about how Chaosmon can provide extra pressure just due to his ability, as you can see there. But let's talk about the Justimon line combo. So let's talk about the combinations once you hit Justimon and you have a minimum of 2 or ideally 3+ tamers. Okay, so before we hit Justimon, here's combo number 1. We will digivolve into Cyberdramon, or if not, he's already on board. We can activate Cyberdramon ability, get a Ryu, etc. But what we can do first is swing with Cyberdramon, and let's say the opponent has a Digimon here, right? You can activate Cyberdramon's attack to attack the Digimon, right? Activate, Ryu's ability, give Cyberdramon plus 1,000 power, and already with the Hotmon under him, he gains another 1,000. So you're swinging for 12 at their Digimon. So Digimon goes bye-bye. So that's already boom, 1 attack. Okay, next, let's say you have plenty of memory, right? Where you can extend your combos and you would digivolve into Justiarm. So Justimon now will activate his ability when he digivolves. We'll unsuspend him. Okay. So he still will retain the power from Hotmon and the power from Ryu, number 1. So Justimon now will attack. multiple effects will activate. Okay, so first off, let's do the most aggressive one. For the most aggressive, we can activate Justimon's ability to gain power. So we have one tamer, so let's use that one tamer in a sense, use it to gain power +2. Okay, now we want to activate another rest. Let's rest another one. Again, become a 3. And then activate Justimon's ability to gain another power. So give another power. And then activate his unsuspend. So Justimon is swinging right now for a total of 11, 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18,000 at security attack +1. Okay, so it's huge power coming out. You're not really worried about any security Digimon. Now keep in mind, if we have Volcanomon, extra security damage. So that is the kind of the most aggressive play. You just give Justimon a bunch of power and then just swing at security. So now we've unsuspended, and then we can attack again for more damage. Okay, so that is the most aggressive play. All right, number 2. Justimon will swing. We can start activating the inherited effects. Cyberdramon's ability will activate. Let's de-digivolve this Digimon. Oh, look at that. They have a 5K. Now we can activate Justimon's ability to destroy this. That's 1 for 1 tamer. Second ability, let's restand. It's the one you're pretty much always going to use. Tamer number 2. Okay. Oh, we have an extra tamer. Let's say they have another, 5K. We can blow it up again for tamer number 3. And then Justimon can go in for the swing. And obviously, if there is a rested Digimon, he can swing at the rested Digimon. So that, it doesn't matter. I'm sorry. Depending on how many tamers you have, you can keep activating the destruction effect or the power boost effect. So you can stack his power really high, get this dice really big, or if they have a lot of, 5 cost, you can start blowing things up. So field control or high power. The only thing you cannot activate a bunch of times at once is the restand effect, because all these effects are happening at the exact same time. And obviously, depending on what we have under, we can use the Cyberdramon to de-digivolve to blow up a level 4, just like you saw me do. And obviously, we gain memory. So that would be the control attack for Justimon. Now keep in mind, that's not including the Rio boosts. Remember, every time we attack, we can always rest these to get the plus 1,000 power. So very powerful. And finally, the Chaosmon combo. So Justimon will swing. Let's say they only have this one. We can activate the abilities to digivolve this if there's something under it, gain the memory because of Strike Dramon, right? And any of that stuff. If we have Senrizamon, then you got that power boost because we can activate Justimon's ability to give himself power, right? As an example. Let's say we have the 3 tamers. There's nothing to blow up. We just kind of want to go the aggressive play, go hit the security. So what we can do is gain +4 for the 2 tamers, and then for the final tamer, restand. Like I mentioned before, if we have multiple tamers, you give higher power output. And at the same time, while he is attacking, we can rest these Ryus to give him extra power. So another +2. And then you can swing at security for the 2 times, right? So the first attack that gave all that, triggered all the effects, and then the second attack. So these security go bye-bye. Finally, what we can do, let's say they do have a Digimon on board, and there's nothing much else you can do. You can now go into Chaosmon. Chaosmon will keep the power boost from the Ryus. So it'll get that +2 as well, plus the Justimon power, which will go at the end away at the end of the turn. Well, we have this. Chaosmon will swing at this Justimon, or the other opponent's monster, and then boom, there goes the other security. So at the end of your turn, your opponent's turn begins. The generic +2 power that Justimon gave will go away, but it will retain the +2,000 power at Ryu. And the same principle applies when it comes to just your Justimon in general. Any time that Ryu boosts the attacking Digimon's power, it will retain this power boost until the end of your opponent's turn. So that is the final combination of Chaosmon with Justimon. And that's the main combos. Obviously, we do run the Grumblemons in the deck. We do run 4 of them. And that's just for that extra push. If Justimon cleared all the security, then we can obviously always Digivolve on top of a Tamer to finish them off as long as you have enough security. So that's the Justimon. Let me know what you guys think. If there's any combos that I might have missed with the deck list that I have provided. I really hope you guys like this, and let me know if you guys can think of other combinations of other cards that I have not thought of yet. All right, well, enjoy. Thank you so much for your time, and take care.